Yeah. Okay.
Now before we jump in, we must know that it's sink or swim, and we can't change the past once it's done. And the darkest of sights are never wrong or right, even when the bright lights are all gone. We'll carry on.
Welcome back to another DA Musical HQ session, live from Spandau in Berlin. Some interesting times at the moment, but we're getting through them and we're being positive, and we've got a great evening scheduled this evening. Before we get into our proceedings, just a quick announcement that we are supporting the World Health Organization COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. And we've just donated the first $40 from this month. So yeah, pretty excited to be supporting them. So any donation made this evening, 10% of that will go towards this fund, and they can use everything they can lay their hands on at the moment. So anything that you provide via donations will definitely be appreciated. But without much further ado, we have Adam Wendler in house, based down in Potsdam, but all the way from Canada. And we'll get into all of the nitty-gritty. But welcome. Hope you have a pleasant evening with us, and it should be pretty entertaining for sure. But yeah, without much further ado, I will patch myself into Potsdam, where we have Adam waiting for us. How are you, Adam?
Evening. I'm good. How are you doing?
Very, very well. Very, very well. Yeah. Yeah, good to see the studio and where all the creativity happens.
Yeah, a lot of it anyway. Yeah, we've got. This is pretty much it. Everybody watching out there, you can pretty much see the whole thing. It's not much bigger. Like I was saying before to Dominic, we've got just a little corner here out of your view and a little corner out of there. But yeah, this is my little room.
This is where all the business takes place.
Yeah, it's everything you need.
For sure. I am definitely on the screen. You can definitely ask Flo next to you. I'm definitely there.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah,
I will appear probably in the next couple of seconds, but
that's okay. I can hear you fine.
But yeah, so tell me how are things? It's obviously been a strange period of time for the last 3 weeks. Well, longer than that actually.
Yeah, I've kind of lost track. Actually, I have no idea. My whole sense of time is completely screwed now. But it's been at the start. It was kind of a bummer, just because you find out that all these gigs got canceled for the next couple months. And so there were some exciting gigs that either got postponed or canceled entirely. But once you kind of come to terms that like everybody's in the same situation, it's not just at the start. You kind of like, oh damn, I got screwed out of all these gigs. But then you kind of realize the big picture that there's this massive pandemic going on in the whole world, and everybody's affected. So it's I'm pretty okay with it now. I'm getting used to just doing the day to day kind of focusing more on creative stuff, and doing a lot of songwriting.
Yeah, and I mean, give us a little bit of insight as to how you go around your kind of your songwriting. How does that happen? What do you do? What comes first? Like,
so I guess there's a couple different methods. Like I'm trying to write songs every single day for myself, and normally I do that just like I wake up whenever I wake up. It's been later and later since the Corona stuff has happened, but
that's okay.
Wake up, let's say in the morning, and then I drink some coffee and start just trying to write to see what comes out. So I find that the morning's usually like the time whenever I'm most apt to just have like a spark, something that kind of happens quickly. Usually the songs of mine that are the best are ones that kind of just you start singing, you start playing the guitar, and it kind of flows out. So that's typically the way I go about writing my own songs. But I also do a lot of co-writing where I'll sit down there's another guy actually in the same building as me named Dominic Dunner, and I write with him regularly.
Okay.
And so in that case, I'll sit down, and it's more. I'm kind of more so have the role of like helping him. So there are more songs for him. So I approach it a bit differently. Like he'll have an idea, and then I'll try to just work on building his idea up and contribute melodies, and then I have just kind of lyrical or rhyming ideas, and just kind of keep throwing ideas at him. So those are basically my two methods. When I'm writing for myself, I don't usually actually have like a specific idea in mind before I start. I kind of generate the idea, generate the melody, and generate the chords all more or less at the same time, and then I refine it after I get like the spark.
Really? I mean, do you actually come up with all the lyrics and the like the melody and the chords all at the same time, or is it generally like a little bit split up?
Like mostly like the spark altogether anyways, like for the good ones. And then like I refine the lyrics afterwards. So verses maybe not, but maybe I'll just kind of start singing, like humming something. And normally it's like the chorus first, typically, but not always, or just some sort of melody. And I guess it's kind of a hum, but I'm usually just humming but singing words. So they might be kind of nonsense words, and I'm just like singing something, and playing the chords. And then maybe it'll work that some of the words that I said I realize, oh, those are really cool words. So then I stop and maybe write them down, or once that happens, I usually turn a recorder on, also just like a voice memo thing.
Okay.
And then it just kind of builds all together.
It's definitely a gift. I mean, like I've tried to write songs before and it just doesn't work. Like it totally fizzles out.
I mean, and it doesn't work every day either. Like, I mean, I try. Like, what I'm saying is every morning I put myself in the same situation where that may or may not happen. I can always force something out. Like, I can always like just make something, but you want it to be good. So, and the good ones always happen the way I just described for me.
For sure.
That I'm really happy with.
And tell me something I've always wanted to know is like, how long have you been in Potsdam for, and why Potsdam?
We've been in Potsdam it was a year in November, so I guess getting on a year and a half, more or less. But we ended up here. So, like, I ended up in Germany mainly because of Flo, who's my girlfriend. Okay. We met in New Zealand.
Okay.
And that's that along with the fact that Berlin was just a really good spot to be for music. When we weighed out where we wanted to be, like, okay, let's go to Berlin. And at that point, Flo had a apartment in Crowdcast.
Okay.
So I was kind of there and kind of in Canada and kind of in between for a while, and we were just all over the place. And that apartment was a Big A, so like a shared apartment building. Yeah. And so we wanted to get something for just us two, and we basically looked around, and because it's Berlin, we had a very difficult time finding anything. And then Flo's sister's colleague had this apartment in Potsdam. They were moving out of, so we scooped that one up, and it's been great.
It's actually, I mean, it's not that far out of Berlin either. So if you really wanted to come into Neukölln, you could.
we're in, like, not now because of the virus, but normally we're in Berlin all the time.
Yeah,
like it's have a Monatskarte, public transport pass.
Exactly.
It's
easy.
Always there.
It's easy.
And I come from Canada, so its distances are very far. Here it's like half an hour you can be in the middle of Berlin. So
I mean, it's actually not that bad. If you, I mean, in other parts of the world, if you think like New York, you'd be traveling for days.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, even if I fly home, we go back to Canada, we have to fly into Toronto. That's the closest airport. But I'm actually from a town that's like a 3-hour, more or less, drive west of there. So every time we fly in, like, I have to get a friend or my parents to come pick us up at the airport. So it's like, for them, it's like 6 hours. mission, you know.
And that's is that Godrich? Godrich is where you're from, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, 3 hours from the nearest airport. That's
The
something.
nearest international that goes from Europe. Yeah.
Where is that? I mean, I've never been to Canada, so you have to forgive me. But where is that? Where is that? Like, give me some sort of direction.
It's more east than west in Canada, but it's like really, really southern. So it's southern Ontario, so kind of like the middle, slightly more east than west, and yeah, pretty close to Detroit. Also, if you're familiar with that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
The same distance to Detroit as Toronto, more or less.
Okay. Yeah. So pretty far south, actually.
Yes. Yeah. It's like almost as south as you get. In Canada.
Oh, good, man. But you go back quite regularly though. You sort of.
Yeah, I mean, not so much now really, but like that's what I mean. Like before, whenever we were in Potsdam, it was regular because I didn't actually have a proper visa at that point. It was like I'd always come on visitor visa, and I still had stuff going on in Canada, and we'd be
Okay.
So there was a lot of back and forth then, but now it's going back around Christmas and try to go back in the summer, depending on what the situation is by then. But I mean, twice a year, maybe once a year now.
Okay. And are you touring quite a lot around? Before all of this mayhem started, you've been touring quite a bit around Europe and.
Yeah. I mean, like I guess I'm always playing gigs, or normally always playing gigs consistently, anyways.
Yeah.
And it's been less like proper tour in the sense that it's like a concert every single night of the week, and more just like, a couple a week.
Okay.
And we can be based here and go elsewhere for shows. But yeah, right around now was when the touring process was going to happen.
Okay.
And kind of just advance up through the summer.
Oh man, just kind of ground to a halt.
But definitely always. I mean, that's what I miss. I miss playing live because I was just really getting into the zone. Like for me, there's more like there's writing and being, like just in that introverted kind of creative space, and then performing is like the opposite because you have to be in the extroverted kind of performing space. So I was just kind of starting to get into that, and then I'm like, go back into my introverted creative shell here for a little while longer.
Crazy. Well, I'm just going to interject here. We've got, is it Gilles? Am I pronouncing?
From Lapland, is that
Gilles? That's one of our guests or one of our audience members.
Yeah, I think I know who. If it's the same Gilles that I'm thinking of.
Well, he says hi, Adam.
Hey.
And we've got here Astrid and Harold are watching.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's Flo's dad and her stepmom.
Oh, cool. Yeah, look.
Also, yes.
Where are they in Spandau, right?
Yeah.
Around the corner, neighbors.
Yeah, I'm not sure whereabouts. It's Spandau, so you're not far anyway.
It's a small part of Berlin. Yeah. What about we play something, a little song for everybody, and then we can sort of get back into this.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll just plug my guitar in here.
Yeah.
It's situated. I think I will start with a relatively new song. This one, it's not the studio version isn't officially released yet, and won't be probably until August. I think we've got it finished, but not released. But there's a live version of me using like a loop station with it on YouTube as well. So this is one called "Take Me Away." I wanna stop and listen, I wanna be laddie, I wanna see the spaces in between. I'm not the type to sit away like this. Every single moment, as far as I can tell, we're looking down a river, but we're stuck inside a cell. You've never been one to play your cards like this, but I think we're gonna feel it like we never had before. I I see that times are changing and I know there's something more. And take me away, yeah. Gonna open up the door to into space like we never have before. Losing our place, break from our cage, live in the moment, embrace the change. Take me away, yeah. Oh, take me away from here, away from here. I wanna feel the rhythm, I wanna hear the beat, I wanna see the movement, the shuffle of the beat. Let it all go, losing all time and space. Flowing with the motions, changing with the tide, moving with the feeling, let it all collide. You've never been one to play your cards like this, but I think we're gonna feel it like we never had before. I see that times are changing and I know there's something more. And take me away, yeah. Gonna open up the door, drift into space like we never have before. Losing our place, break from our cage, live in the moment, embrace the change. Take me away, yeah. Take me away from here, away from here. Take me away, take me 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 away from here. Take me away.
Fantastic. That sounds fantastic. Great song. When did you say the studio version is coming out?
It should be out in August or so. We haven't set a release date, but I've got kind of a bit of a lineup of songs ready to go. So just trying to figure out which song suits which time. Yeah.
Tell me something. An interesting question. How is Spotify working?
In terms of like financial aspects, in terms of streams, or
I mean,
for me,
just in general, like, does it work? I mean, for me, it's such a fantastic platform. Don't get me wrong. I obviously pay a premium every month and all of that. But does it work for the musicians that are actually putting their songs on there?
Yeah, I mean, you have to kind of learn how to play the game. You know, it's not it's a long road. Because obviously, like with Spotify, the way you get more streams to get on playlists generally, and to get on playlists, that's kind of the tricky part, because you want to get on like Spotify curated, like playlists that are made by the people who work at Spotify. Basically, that's kind of the goal. But you can also start your own playlists and start growing them. We've started to do that a little bit more.
Okay.
I mean, it goes like I've not had a song yet that gets like 100 million streams or anything yet, but it's going well. Like I think Deepwater has the most, and it's like 280 some. Yeah, I think 180 some thousand.
That's what
something like that. So, I mean, it's not. Considering we've been doing everything totally independently, I think it's pretty good, and it's always growing. Like exactly. Yeah, so I would say it's working.
And do you find there are other platforms as well that like Deezer, for instance, or any other platforms that are starting to work at roughly the same level?
Well, I don't know. Like the thing is, the stats, like, so Spotify has this thing called Spotify for Artists, where you can really see everything. And we don't have that same sort of like application with the other distributor, other platforms. So we don't know exactly like the same kind of analytics as to how well they're doing. Spotify is definitely like the most popular through the world. Okay. But you are seeing like Apple Music is actually, I think Apple Music has surpassed Spotify for paying subscriptions in North America now.
Oh wow!
So I guess that's probably the next up. And I've been added to I was added to the full playlist on Amazon as well, and yeah, things like that. So but I would say for us, Spotify, just because that's the one that we focus on the most.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Like my father's a bit of a musician himself, and has always been like putting his music into Spotify. But I think if you don't get into the game of it and gamify it and really kind of get it working for you, it's just like throwing stuff into a big hole.
Like there's always like the chance of something just kind of blowing up on its own, but I think that's quite slim. Even with things that seem to have blown up on their own, there's usually a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes.
Oh, for sure.
Digitally. So yeah, I mean that's not to say it's not possible, but yeah, I mean we're still learning. I'm just trying to I'm getting more and more into that, but I'm also trying to keep a distance from that just to be able to focus on the creative part and not get too into trying to make something that will perform well on that, like I want it to be like an honest songs, honest music, and
yeah, exactly. You don't
if
want
to gain a bigger audience. Obviously, that's what we want, but I don't want to change the way that I'm playing too much for that reason.
No, otherwise it just becomes too clinical and like too pop driven, and you just kind of you lose the feel somehow.
And I do like I like pop, and I like that kind of music as well. So like really what I'm trying to do with my sound is kind of meet in the middle. Just get some modern touches to the productions and some sounds that are just like a little bit more 2020 instead of going for the full on classical singer-songwriter folk approach. Just because it's kind of exciting, you can kind of mix and match different elements to the production.
Totally.
So while still keeping it like a real organic feel at the same time.
And tell me something from a video, like a video aspect. Like I see that you do a fair few music videos.
Yeah,
I think a couple of your recent ones have been filmed here. I think in Berlin.
Yeah.
What is the uptake for music videos? Is there like do you see there being like a growing market for it?
Like in terms of what we get out of having music videos, I don't know. Like it was really good for us to get all the ones we have, because now like there's just like my whole theory behind it was if you get a lot of that, you just become official, Sure. Like you search out a movie, you see these like really good quality videos.
Absolutely.
Not to mention they're super fun to make and like really entertaining.
Sure.
It's in like we've been managed to like do it all relatively cost effectively, like find people who are just the right people to do it with us, and like we're not working like with Hollywood super high budget motion pictures, but they kind of look like it,
Sure.
They look really, really good quality while not being like totally out of.
Yeah, I mean, you could get to a point where you're spending thousands and thousands and thousands and like.
You gotta kind of find a way that works financially, but because it's not, I guess to answer your question, it's not really a huge return on investment yet, But we've definitely gotten more gigs out of it and more people, more fans for sure. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're like a well-rounded artist these days, you've got to have pretty much all the content, all the different types of content lined up.
Just hit it all. Just
do it all. Hard. Just send it all out.
Yeah, that's kind of how we thought of it. Although we were doing a lot of music videos for a while, and now that we have so many, it kind of slowed up. I still want to like do them, but just kind of do a little bit less, and while keeping it consistent. Focus more on. We've been like I was saying before, we're mainly focused on trying to grow the Spotify at the moment.
Yeah.
And though you have to focus on everything, you got to pick your battles also.
Okay. We've received a request. We do not have a question. Your balcony concert was great. Please keep on playing. So that means you're gonna have to play another song.
Oh, nice.
Or play another balcony gig.
Yeah, we will do that too. Yeah, we started. I'll just tell the people who are listening. We
Bettina.
uh, we started a little balcony concert in our neighborhood. We Our balcony faces a big building that has a ton of other balconies. So one day I was just sitting out there playing, and then we realized people kind of came out and started listening. So then we decided to make it official and hung a little advertisement on the front of our balcony. And we've done it 2 weeks in a row now. We
Oh,
just said like
fantastic.
6:30 on Friday. There will be live music.
Well, I'm sure Bettina's going to be very excited to hear that.
Yeah, we'll be at it again. Well, this Friday we're gonna do it actually on Saturday this week, just so
Okay.
you know,
Okay. So,
because this is like the Good Friday Easter thing going on
exactly.
this weekend, so we
Exactly.
don't want
Don't
to
want to
disturb
get
the peace.
exactly. Well,
But,
maybe we should get another song out of
yeah.
you. And
Oh, I gotcha. Got the guitar, and you're hearing me okay through this mic, eh?
yeah, I can hear you fine for sure.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, it's just like it's a bit of a test to like I've done a few interviews here, or a few interviews now, like in different parts of the world, and this has been great. Like the stability of the internet is perfect, and it's great.
Sweet.
Loving this.
And everybody else out there, feel free to write something in the chat. Just let me know if it sounds. I mean, it's not going to sound um, like the best thing you've ever heard, but as
Yeah.
long as it's clear and stuff, because I can adjust some stuff, but it's a work in progress. So
I think the guitar sounding good. I mean, you could always put a little bit more volume on the guitar,
okay,
but I think it sounds great.
okay, cool. Okay, here is a little song called Summer Queen. We'll rock that out. I recorded this one actually in Berlin at a famous gold watch,
Oh yeah.
Cameron. Yeah, so this is a it's called Summer Queen, but it's kind of more about summer coming to an end, and somebody who had like a really life changing good summer, and then doesn't really know what to do when it ends, you know. So it's called Summer Queen. It goes like this. She is a summer queen. She holds heat and lends a breeze. She travels through a lifetime in a week. Rich with experience, in a town that's heaven sent, she escapes the ties that bind her for a while. She's on the top, but heading back to the bottom. Gotta find a way to stay warm through the year. She's on a run, months of perfection. She gives affection to the others in her world. And summer belongs to her. Summer belongs to her. She is a summer queen. She holds heat and lends a breeze, a flower that has blossomed from the sea. Careless, soft and free, she is the party, but she keeps the peace. She gave away her structure for a dream. She's on the top, but heading back to the bottom. Gotta find a way to stay warm through the year. She's on a run, months of perfection. She gives affection to the others in her world. And summer belongs to her. Summer belongs to her. sun will go, the town will die, and she'll be alone. In a week or so, the sun will go. In a week or so, the sun will go, the town will die, and she'll be alone. In a week or so, the sun will go, she'll be alone. She's a summer queen, yeah. She's a summer queen, yeah. She's a summer queen, yeah. She's a summer queen.
Fantastic. Lovely. Awesome. I wish I had. I'm actually going to put like a little clapping sound in. I can press a little button like clap, 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 clap. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know when all this sort of mayhem is going to come to an end. But what do you reckon? What do you reckon is sort of on the cards? Are you going to sort of do a little bit of a summer tour, hopefully, and where would you go?
Yeah, I guess our gigs are mostly canceled till June thus far.
Shoot.
The problem is that like a lot of the festivals that we had are also canceled, like even later than that, because they, just the unpredictability of it. So even if the ban is lifted, all the months leading up to it, you can't really get ready for
exactly.
So the summer is.
It's pretty up.
I mean, I don't know how much of a proper tour there will be, but I'm sure as we get later on in summer, I'll have gigs again. But I don't know what's gonna happen and what's not gonna happen. So,
gonna have to keep writing.
I gotta wait it out and see what happens. But we have the internet. We've got these concerts.
Well, exactly. And yeah, we should try and push the boundaries a little bit and. Maybe, I mean, what would actually be very easy for you to do from your studio as well is to have OBS and to actually do a performance right from your studio, or through Crowdcast. That would be incredible.
Yeah. I mean, like we've done like a couple we did a Facebook Live and Instagram Live from here where you did like my whole. Because normally when I'm playing live, I have like a kick drum, electronic kick drum with my right foot and tambourine with the left foot and the loop station for some songs and a whole, bunch of stuff going on. So we did it kind of like that, Facebook Live and Instagram Live, which was easier for us to do considering we hadn't had, like, you've got the plan to build this and keep, you're promoting it and going with it. Whereas for us, we just, clicked go live and try to get whoever is already following us in there, But this is a long-term plan. You got to keep.
Totally. You've just got to keep at it and keep, keep finding different artists and different things. And I've got a couple of options to interview some luthiers, one in the States, one in the UK, and then to try and grow that as well to, maybe like once a month is to bring on a different luthier and to like go and have a look inside their luthery. That's always been that's been a cool thing to do.
I mean, people build just seeing a guitar get built and come together is pretty cool.
Yeah, and like getting sort of an idea, can you imagine being able to speak to George Loudon and like go and see what he does and like have a discussion with him about his guitars? I think that would be great.
I actually don't know who he is,
George
to be honest.
Loudon Guitars from Ireland. Okay. Fantastic, beautiful guitars. Just one of these beautiful guitars that happen to exist. But there's so many. I had a really interesting discussion with Michael Watts, and whoever's out there can go and click on the link there. It was a great discussion. He's just so knowledgeable. He knows all of these luthiers, and like he's had interviews with them inside the lutheries, and he's just got this incredible knowledge. And it would be nice to get to a point where I actually know a little bit more of what I'm talking about.
Are you interested yourself in building guitars, or is it just
Well,
like
just like I've got three guitars hanging on my wall here at home, and I mean it's a bit like cooking in the kitchen, right? If you don't know your ingredients and you don't know what you're actually putting into your food, you don't really know what you're getting. And I think it's the same with a guitar. Like, it would be nice to actually know exactly how that guitar is built and what bracing they use and what effect it has and whether
yeah, true. I mean, like I know very little about that. Like, I mean, I know a little bit about, like, I know my guitar sounds good when I play it, but yeah, I don't know, like you said, I don't know what is making it that way, and what sort of materials were used through the whole process. But
yeah, I mean,
definitely little techniques that make it that way.
I mean, I found out something the other day where Lakewood the top of the guitar is ever so slightly bent. They build it that way for different sound purposes, and I find that quite amazing, really.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty wacky looking guitars. I mean, like ovations where they have the back rounded.
Yeah. There's some crazy guitars out there, and there are also some really fantastic luthiers here in Berlin. Some really fantastic ones. So I think what's Alice Phoebe Lou is actually playing on a couple of guitars built by this luthier here in Berlin.
Cool.
And he built some really fantastic electrics, and I would love to get my hands on one. Charlie also wants to get his hands on one.
Yeah, I can see him appreciating that.
Oh yes, he's definitely into that vein of thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell me, do you play quite a lot in Potsdam, for instance, or do you not really?
Like gigs, proper gigs. Not a whole lot. I used to play on the street here all the time.
Okay.
I haven't done that much recently, but there's a little shopping street,
Okay.
Brandenburger Straße, and yeah, I was playing there quite regularly. And still, if I have like a new song I want to try out, I'll just go and play it there. Yeah, and there's been like a few gigs here and there here. We just did a living room concert not so long ago here.
Okay.
And anytime there's like an event, like a festival or mini sort of festival thing going on around the community, I'll play at that. In this building here, there was a Fête de la Musique stage out front last year.
Okay.
Yeah, just anything that pops up, I'm kind of usually a part of it. And yeah, played at the Bosch Bar, just a little bar, not so far from here. So
yeah,
regularly enough, but not like all the time.
No, I mean, there's obviously a school of thought that people that live in a particular city shouldn't necessarily play too much in that city. I don't know what your thoughts are, but
yeah, I mean, it depends on the kind of because the gigs I'm going for are like basically mostly trying to play my own songs. Like if it's a really long gig, I'll play like covers and do all sorts of stuff. But what I really want is like the official gigs where you play for like 45 minutes on a big stage kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or longer, but like the stage that I'm at right now is usually like those sets. So you get your set prepared, and it's like just a really strong set.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think if you're doing those kind of gigs, you can't play in your city all the time because
no, you can't.
You have to be able to get people to come out.
Wow, exactly.
But even if someone really, really big were to play like every night, a 45-minute set, like it loses. It loses that exclusiveness kind of special occasion feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas I think if you're like a cover band or something, or like a pub band, then anything goes. Just play as much as you can.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I would suggest that maybe once every 3 months or once every 6 months in the city that you like, or resident of is not such a bad idea.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
then
I
then you
agree
got to do
totally.
it properly. Then you got to do then you got to put on like a big show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm trying to explain. Like, we
yeah,
make it a little
exactly,
bit more
exactly.
special. And
Um,
I mean, another reason for being in Germany compared to Canada is just the fact that there's so many cities.
yeah,
There's so many places we can go. There's so many spots I can play.
yeah.
And yeah, Canada's just, you have to drive a lot further. It's more limited, and
It's an
uh,
enormous country. You've got to remember that.
yeah, and like there like the area that I'm from in southern Ontario. There's a few cities all around, but then when you leave that region, there's nothing. You have to drive
Tundra,
for a very long time. So here it's unlimited. Like,
snowfields.
we're not running out of cities.
Yeah. Good. And what else was I gonna say? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Favorite venue to play in. Like of all the venues you've played in, what's the favorite venue?
That's tough. There's been a lot of cool ones. I like I kind of like ones that are just in like out of the way, like just like you don't expect to see it. And like the example I always give with this question is there's a venue in a town in Brandenburg called Lauchhammer,
Oh yeah.
and it's called the Real Music Club. But you get to Lauchhammer and you kind of think like, okay, yeah, this is like, I wonder what kind of gig I'm going to tonight. It's just like small village kind of feel. But then you walk in and it's this old church, I think it is, and they yeah, like renovated it and turned it into this like really cool like American style like club. But yeah, just like a lot of love into it, and the stuff all on the walls and everything. It's just like, yeah, super super nice and cozy, and they yeah, give you a really good meal beforehand. The sound is super great, and because it's in one of those areas that's kind of, yeah, just in the middle of nowhere, uh, they get less music too, and it's just more
Uh-huh.
special. So like, audience is really good. So that's one of the spots I look forward to the most when I'm
That's a
playing.
good. That's a good way of doing it. I think like the smaller villages and towns don't generally get a lot of music, so I'm sure the audiences are truly appreciative.
Yeah, I think so. And just when you return, people remember you. Also, it's not like, I don't know, like I love Berlin, but there's so many
So much.
things to do every night, and that's part of why I love Berlin. But yeah, so it's just less, yeah, less special in a sense, just because there's
Yeah,
so much.
and I think if you were to keep playing like week in week out in Berlin, you'd get lost, and then like the ability to actually earn a living from playing purely in Berlin just doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, you hear people always talking about that, like with the independent musicians being able to survive in Berlin. I mean, like busking is always an option, and I know that in some spots they're cracking down on that and making it more difficult for people. But the way I look at it is it's not that difficult to, like, everything's so close in Germany. Like
Sure.
you can book gigs elsewhere and travel around. And
And you
Berlin's
don't
is like a great hub to meet other people in the same world, though, and
totally.
other producers, people in the industry.
Totally, that's what I think. I think it's a perfect base and platform to kind of launch an assault on the rest of Europe, and you can, if you start getting interest in South America or Australia, then it's just getting in a plane and off you go,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I don't know. I think some people just forget that it's. I mean, right now it's a different
Oh,
situation.
sure.
Obviously, everything's closed down, but like, it's a pretty globalized world now, and you can just make stuff happen like
Look, I
that.
think I think once this issue has been solved, and we've managed to get some sort of vaccine, and they can see that no one is being affected by this virus anymore, then I'll say that they will certainly start becoming, or that they will start opening the borders again.
Yeah,
Um, uh, but I think for now, with this kind of rampant craziness, they have to keep things like tight, And I think, I mean, they say that next month they're going to start looking at like to kind of relax the rules a little bit, but not entirely. I think.
yeah.
Uh,
It's hard to know what'll happen, and that makes it difficult
totally.
to make plans. And I guess, yeah, like I've come to terms with it all. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll learn to produce a little bit more and focus on writing more songs and try to record more guitar loops and just I have a bunch of things I can do. It's just getting like I explained before, just getting out of that live gig mindset and more creative world.
Correct. Well, should we play one more song for the people? And
sure.
That would be great.
Yeah, let's do it. I have a beer sitting here I haven't opened yet, so
please do.
Yeah.
That's what these evenings are for.
Flo brought it and set it here, and it was in the fridge before, but now it's getting kind of warm. So.
Oh no, drink it. Prost.
Yeah, I've been quite into this Czech beer lately, actually.
What is that? What is it called?
This one's a Budweiser.
That's a Budweiser. But the real Budweiser.
The real Budweiser, yes.
Actually,
you can get this one in Canada at the liquor store there.
Not the watery liquid that you can get from Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, they call this one the Czech version in Canada. They call it Czechvar, though. They're not allowed to use Budweiser. So I think the American Budweiser owns the rights to it.
Okay.
So
if only they would.
So similar.
If only they would make better beer then.
Yeah, no, yeah, there's some good craft beers popping up and stuff, but
sure.
The domestic style ones aren't very good.
No.
And Canada, like I always do this example. You've got American beer is here, Canadian beer is here, and German beer is like off the web. Czech beer as well. That's it. Czech and German.
Yeah, I don't know where that all comes from. Why is it so much better? Like it really is like 50-60% better than all the rest.
It might just be due to experience. Like you read some bottles and it'll say like brewed since 1300 and something. And you're like, Canada's only like 152 years old.
Oh, well, there you go. Experience.
Yeah. Cool. I think maybe I'll play Deep Water, the one you had on the intro song.
That's a good one. We like that one.
Something that people know. I like to play the new songs, but I know people also want to hear the oldies and goodies.
We like those.
It's been tried and tested.
Good. Deep Water, everybody.
Now before we jump in, we must know that it's sink or swim, and we can't change the past once it's done. And the darkest of sights are never wrong or right, even when the bright lights are all gone. We'll carry on. There's a weight on my feet that has grabbed hold of me. It pulls me deeper and deeper below. And the more I resist, the more it persists. As I'm falling, I want you to know I won't let go. I won't let go. I got a love that is blind in the deep water. I shut my eyes when I'm sinking, 'cause it calms my nerves. It's always darkest at the bottom and the pressure hurts. Oh, oh, oh. Our love is blind. Our love is blind. After all that I've said, I still have no regrets. After all that we've seen, we're still blind. If the bottom's the last place that we're meant to stay, there is still something out there to find. And I won't let go. I won't let go. I got a love that is blind in the deep water. I shut my eyes when I'm sinking, 'cause it calms my nerves. It's always darkest at the bottom and the pressure hurts. Oh, oh, oh. Nothing short of this could pull me down. Nothing less than this could break me down. Nothing short of this could pull me under. Nothing less than this could break me down. I got a love that's blind in the deep water. I shut my eyes when I'm sinking, cause it calms my nerves. It's always darkest at the bottom and the pressure hurts so. I got a love that is blind in the deep water. I shut my eyes when I'm sinking, cause it calms my nerves. It's always darkest at the bottom and the pressure hurts so. Our love is blind, yeah, 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 our love is blind.
Oh, it's a goodie. It's a goodie. Deep water, everybody. Fantastic, man. Adam, this has been a super discussion, man. I've really enjoyed this. It's great to finally see the inside of the studio.
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been great to talk to someone else too. Like basically been Flo and I together, which has been great, but also good to.
Yeah, well,
chat.
we will definitely do these more frequently, I think.
Yeah, we'll tune into some.
Yeah, and I think what could also work quite well is to do these when you're actually on tour. That could be quite cool.
Yeah, like in between gigs, or if you've got a night off or something, just.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be like purely music. It could be just like a 15 or 20 minute, just like a check-in to see how things are, and like could be just you on your mobile phone, you know.
I'm keen.
Whichever.
Super easy.
You got to test everything out and see how it works.
Yeah, exactly. It's always a work in progress.
Exactly. Well, big thank you for taking your time and for spending the almost an hour with us.
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, thanks everyone out there for listening. It's been fun.
Yeah, well, in fact, your I think your dad and your brother Nicholas were watching as well, and I think they're still online, which is great.
Nice.
It's like a family affair today, which is great.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of people. World Wide Web. I love it.
In fact, let's see here. Who else is here? Vrenny Lane. That's interesting. Who else have we got here? Bettina's still here. She's still listening. And yeah. And Sharon, that must be your mom.
Sharon, yep, that's her.
Hi Sharon. Thanks for sharing all our messages on Facebook. That's much appreciated. Cool.
This will go on YouTube afterwards too, eh?
It will go on YouTube, and it will stay uploaded on here on Crowdcast, so people can listen there as well. And an interesting one. Tomorrow we have a fellow Canadian.
Oh, cool.
We have a Canadian from she's currently in Mississauga.
Oh yeah.
Her father is Swiss, I think, and her mother is South African, but they were born in Canada and then moved to South Africa for a while, and she's moved back to Canada, to Mississauga. And she's now starting to try and get a name for herself going over there. So make sure you tune in tomorrow.
What's her name?
Natasha Meister.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I just come across these musicians all over the show. So
yeah, you're the man. Yeah, you just got it. Yeah, got in the whole network. It's cool.
Exactly. And I think the more these go on, the bigger the network will become. It will progress. I know it.
Yeah, it's inevitable. Just keep it going.
Keep going. Dude, thank you very, very much. We'll see you very, very soon. I hope we can get out of our houses and meet for coffee with our musician friends. And,
shouldn't be too long now.
No, I don't think it'll be too long. I think there'll still be these controls for a while, but I'm sure they'll let it happen. You know.
Yeah.
We can't stay locked inside for so long.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Exactly. Adam, Flo, thank you very, very much for joining us today. And everyone else, make sure you tune in for Natasha.